Joining me now is Keith Wenzel, who is a former police sergeant who trained officers for the Dallas Police Department and even developed a new curriculum for how to respond to situations like this. Keith, thanks so much for being with us. I really need your perspective on this. You told the Dallas Morning News that they did an absolutely perfect job. And I'll paraphrase here, adding that you would show this to students. You'd show them this video as an example of good tactics. Why is that?
Well, absolutely. Now, stand by that. When you watch this video, and keep this in mind, Ashley, you just, in just your opening statement right there, your opening question, less than 10 seconds, that's about the same time the officers had to make a decision of what force to use and how to handle this situation, okay? And I've watched this many, many times, probably 6 or 7 times already, and each time I see a different perspective. And the officers don't get that perspective. They have less than seconds to make a decision. Now, you got to understand, too, the fear that the officers in. I believe the officers did an absolute perfect job. Now, nobody's going to like the outcome of this. It is sad, it's tragic that the person in that door was shot and killed. But keep this in mind, Ashley. I mean, this family had, and I just learned that what the person that's deceased is 36, 37 years old, I believe. I thought he was 20. That's what I was told initially. Mm-hmm. They've had 30-something years with this young man, and they couldn't control him to the point where they needed the police to come help. And these officers are.
Yeah, that's part of the issue that I'm struggling with here, and that is that the family says in a lawsuit that officers had been called to this home over 100 times. The call that came in, and I'm gonna read out what the 911 dispatch was to the officers. Call came in from the mother, I've got a mentally ill son and I need help getting him to Parkland Hospital. And here's what the officers heard in their cruiser. 7:15 over, 7:25, and then they say the address. Bipolar schizophrenic, black male, bold white t-shirt, gray capri pants, man is arguing, needs to go to Parkland. So the officers are responding knowingly, if they didn't already know from the many different officer responses to that home, that this is a bipolar schizophrenic man needing to go to the hospital. Why then would they have put themselves in a position to be so close to that door and so close to a volatile person?
Well, let me ask you, what do you think they should have done? Get on their loudspeaker at the end of the driveway and order the family and everybody out of the house. Now, that's not realistic, and keep in mind, and I don't know a lot of these facts, I'm just speaking on the tactics. The officers approach the door in a calm manner. I mean, there's no question about that. They're very calm, relaxed. They knock on the door. Their voice is very calm and relaxed. Quite frankly, the first person who actually yells, who uses extremely loud voice, is the mother, not the officers. And yes, when somebody has a weapon, your voice will almost naturally become elevated, but the officers did a great job. They remained calm. And then I know what you're thinking, well, maybe they should have backed off of the porch. And I'm going to use a funny term to describe a zone, an area, a hula hoop. Imagine, Ashley, a hula hoop. Think of the area that's within that hula hoop. Now, they're on a kind of slightly elevated. There's cars blocking them to come in and out of that where the mother is. She walks right by them. And what you don't see clearly on the video is the facial postures that she's using, what she's saying with her face. But what she said with her voice was very clear. He's crazy, he's bipolar, he's schizo, and she continues to leave instead of standing right there saying something to the effect of, would you help him, please? Okay, now keep that in mind. So you've got less than seconds. Their attention is drawn immediately to him. And keep in mind also, too, Ashley, that you've got 2 officers who have 2 different views. One may be looking to the right, to the left, one may be looking over, and one may be looking to the mother, and the other one says, drop the weapon, put the knife down, whatever the words he uses. We expect in law enforcement, and the public should know this, there should be an immediate answer to that call. Suspects, violators,
with
citizens.
People who aren't mentally ill, you're absolutely right. You are right. But with people who are troubled and knowingly troubled, doesn't that change the equation? And maybe that loudspeaker that you suggested actually might have been a better idea. Loudspeaker from the end of outside the hula hoop. Stay outside the hula hoop when you respond to this kind of a location that is so known to you for dangerous situations even in the past.
And I'm going to tell you that's very unrealistic. With the call load that police officers have, and I know each call is important, but with time constraints with police officers, that's totally unrealistic. The officers, their approach was perfect. But still, let's go back to that hula hoop. Keep in mind this, that the suspect has a screwdriver. That's a deadly weapon. Imagine somebody sticking that screwdriver in your eye, in your face, in your heart, anywhere on your body. You would react negatively if somebody were that close to you. And we've all seen in movies, but let's don't talk Hollywood. Let's talk realism.
Well, when
let's
we've
talk
told the
about
stories, you're right. You know, Keith, I think it does get lost sometimes in these stories that police officers do suffer assaults on a regular basis. They do put themselves in dangerous situations on a regular basis. There's a reason we call them America's bravest. I have to cut it there, but I really appreciate you giving us this perspective. It's not often that we hear that when we have a dead man, a dead mentally ill person, but we certainly need the guidance.
And sadly, even in your last story, it seems like there's an attack on law enforcement. And sometimes we make mistakes. But why is it when we don't make a mistake, nobody's willing to stand up and say, look, their tactics, although horrible in the end, were within training, within the decision-making that we give them, and the circumstances present. And that's what we need to see in America today.
Appreciate your time. Thanks so much for your perspective.
You're welcome.